Okay, so this time now we are going to solve or compute this schedule, market equilibrium schedule. So what we are going to do first is we are going to look for point A for this one, price and quantity demand. So what we're going to do is we're going to use first look for the price using the QS formula. So like this, so point A. So at point A, so we have QS is equals to negative 200 plus 15P. Okay, so since we have already our QS quantity supply, so we are going to use the 250 here. 250 is equals to negative 200 plus 15P. Okay, so there. So what we're going to do is we'll transfer the 200 to the other side. So that would be 250 plus 200 is equals to 15P. Okay, so there we have 450 is equals to 15P over 15 over 15. So our P is equals to, so 450 divided by 15, so that would be 30. So P is equals to 30. So our price is equals to 30. So we will put 30 here. So our price equals to 30. So now we can now compute QD. So QD is equals to 600 minus 5P. So QD is equals to 600 minus 5 times 30. So QD is equals to 600 minus 5 times 30. So we have 150. So QD is equals to 450. So our QD is 450. So that is now our QD. Okay, so next is point B. So point A, then point B. Point B is market equilibrium. So since it's market equilibrium, so what we are going to do is we are going to do the formula QD is equals to QS. Not to know the price first. Okay, so our QD is 600 minus 5P is equals to QS negative 200 plus 15P. Okay, so 600 minus 5P equals to negative 200 plus 15P. So what we are going to do is we are going to put all the this variable P here, so and then the 200 to the other side. So that would become 600 plus 200 is equals to 15P plus 5P. Okay, so we have already 800. So 800 is equals to 20P. So what we are going to do is we are going to divide. So 800 divided by 20. So what is 800 divided by 20? So that would be equals to 40. So price is equals to 40. So our price here is 40. So our price is 40. Next is what is now our quantity demand and our quantity supply. So what we are going to do is now we can now use this one. Still the same. 600 minus 5P is equals to negative 200 plus 15P. Okay, so 600 minus 5 times 40 is equals to negative 200 plus 15 times 40. Okay, so 600 minus 5 times 40. 5 times 40 is equals to 200. Is equals to negative 200 plus 15 times 40. 15 times 40 is 600. Okay, 600 minus 200, that would be 400, is equals to 400. Okay, so we have here 400, 400, so we'll put it here, 400 and 400. Okay, so our 40p, this is what we call equilibrium price. Our 40p is what we call equilibrium price. And then 400 equals to 400, the QD and QS, this is what we call equilibrium quantity. Equilibrium quantity. Okay, so we call it as equilibrium quantity. Okay, we are done with this one. Now let's go to point C. Point C. Okay. So in point C, so we have here QD. So we are going to use the QD formula. That would be QD is equals to 600 minus 5p. Okay, from that we can use now the 350. So 350 is equals to 600 minus 5p. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will transfer that one. So that would be 5p is equals to 600. Okay, so minus 350. Okay, so there, minus 350. So that would be 5p is equals to 250. Okay, over 5p. So 250 divided by 5. So and that would be equals to 50. So price is equals to 50. Price equals to 50. Okay, so now we can now get our QS. So QS is equals to this one, negative 200 plus 15p. So negative 200 plus 15p. Okay, 15p. So QS is equals to negative 200 plus 15 times 50. Okay, so QS is equals to negative 200 plus 15 times 50. So that would be 750. So our quantity supply is equals to 550. Our quantity supply is equals to 550. So we have 550. Okay. Next is price and quantity demand. So we need to look for the price here. So we will use the QS, since QS is given. So we have point C. Point C. Okay. So at point C, QS is equals to negative 200 plus 15p. Okay, so we have 700 is equals to negative 200 plus 15p. So that would be 700 plus 200 is equals to 15p. So that would be 900 equals to 15p. So over 15 over 15. So our P is equals to, so 900 divided by 15. So that would be equals to 60. So our price is 60. Okay, so the price is now 60. Okay, so either peso, dollar, it could be. So we are not just putting there the peso. So now let's have QD. So since we wanted to look for QD, so QD is equals to 600 minus 5 times 60. So QD is equals to 600 minus times 5, that is 300. So QD is equals to 300. So QD is now equals to 300. Okay, so now we are now complete. So you can see here, so we can now answer our market situation. So in the market situation, if quantity supply is greater than quantity demand, then we have surplus. If quantity supply is less than quantity demand, then we have shortage. If quantity supply is equals to quantity demand, then we have market equilibrium. Okay, so we have market equilibrium. So in this situation, quantity demand, quantity supply. So quantity supply is less than quantity demand. So since it is less than quantity demand, then there is what we call shortage. Next, equal, so market equilibrium. Now from this one, quantity demand is less than, or quantity supply is greater than quantity demand, we have surplus. And of course the same, 700 is greater than 300, we have surplus. Okay, so there. So shortage, surplus, and surplus. So now let's proceed to elasticity. Okay. So this time, what we are going to do is we are going to compute for elasticity here. This one. So demand and also supply. So what we are going to do first is we are going to compute the elasticity. So what is the formula of elasticity? So let's have points A and B. So our elasticity. Let's have point A and B. Elasticity. Okay. So in the computation of elasticity, we have Q and price. So we will use the quantity demand and also quantity price. So let's have the quantity demand. So we will answer that one. So elasticity of demand first. Demand. Okay. So there. So we have a formula which is Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 plus Q2 over 2 divided by P2 minus P1 over P1 plus P2 over 2. Okay, so that is our elasticity of price demand. So from that, we can now get our answer. We can now what we call compute, because we have here our given. So muna siya sa atong given. So we can use 400. B is our sub 2. So 400 minus 450 over 450 plus 400 over 2. So that would equals to divided by 2, this one, 40 minus 30 over 30 plus 40 over 2. Okay, so there. So we have negative 50 over 850 over 2 divided by 10 over, so over 70 over 2. So there. So negative 5 over negative 50 over 850 divided by 2, that would be 425 over 10. 70 divided by 2, we have 70, 35. So over 35. Okay, so there. So from that, negative 50 divided by 425, that would be equal to 1.117.1176. So just second decimal lang. So we have 0.12, negative 0.12 over 10 divided by 35. So that would be 10 divided by 35. So that would be 0.29. 0.29. Okay, so 0.29, 0.12 or negative 0.12 divided by 0.29. So that would be again 0.12 divided by 0.29. So that is 4.4137 or negative 0.41. Okay, so negative 0.41. Okay, so our answer is 0.41. 0.41. Our answer is 0.41, and that means inelastic demand. Inelastic demand. So it means inelastic demand. Okay, so that is the meaning for that, inelastic siya. Okay, then next we have point C and D. Point C and D. Point C and D. So in point C and D, we have here, so the same formula, elasticity of price demand. So we can use Q2 minus Q1. So that would be 300 minus 350 over 350 plus 300 divided by 2 divided by 60 minus 50 over 50 plus 60 over 2. So that would be equals to 300 minus 350, that would be negative 50 over 650 over 2 over 10 over 110 over 2. Okay, so there, so divide 110 divided by 2. Then afterwards, we can now negative 50 divided by 650 divided by 2, that would be 325 over 10. 110 divided by 2, that would be 55. Okay, so that would be negative 50 divided by 325, that would be equals to negative 0.15. So negative 0.15. Okay, over 10 divided by 55. So that would be 0.18. 0.18. So our answer is negative 15. 0.15 divided by 0.18. So our answer is negative 0.83. Okay, so our answer is negative 0.83 or 0.83 here. So that is still inelastic demand. Okay, so that is still inelastic demand. So when it is below 1 inelastic, if it's 1 unitary, if it is more than 1, that would be elastic. So if it's more than 1, elastic. Okay, so now we are done with the demand, elasticity. Now let's proceed to elasticity of supply. So let's proceed to elasticity of supply. Okay, so in the elasticity of supply, that would still, no, formula is still the same. That would be EPS na. So EPS, so elasticity of price supply. So from there we can now compute, so still the same, Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 plus Q2 over 2, P2 minus P1 over P1 plus P2 over 2. Okay, so from there we can now use the, so this is our Q2, this is our Q1. So that would be 400 minus 250 over 250 plus 400. Okay, then over 2. Then afterwards P2. So still the same. Still use this one. So 40 minus 30 over 30 plus 40 over 2. Okay, then 400 minus 250. 400 minus 250 equals to 150 over 650 over 2. So that would be 10 over 70 divided by 2. So there. So 150 over 650 divided by 2. 650 divided by 2. That would be equals to 325 over 10. Okay. So over 35. Okay. So 150 divided by 325, that is 0.46 over 0.29. Okay, so 0.46 divided by 0.29, the answer is 1.59. Okay, so 1.59. So that would be here 1. So we will put it here 1.59. So since it is more than 1, 1.5 is greater than 1, that would be elastic supply. Okay, supply is elastic. Okay, so 1.59. Okay, the supply is elastic. Okay, next is this one. Okay, point C and D. Next is point C and D. So this is point A and B. Then next is point C and D. Okay, so still the same formula. We will just go directly to the computation. So that would be 700 minus 550. 700 minus 550 over 550 plus 700 over 2 divided by 60 minus 50 over 50 plus 60 over 2. So there. So we have 700 minus 550. So that would be 150 over, okay, so 1,250 over 2 divided by 6, that would be Okay, so 10 over 10, 110 over 2. Okay, so 150 over 1 to 50. 1 to 50 divided by 2. Okay, so we have 625. Okay, so 625 over, so there, 10 over 55. Okay, so there, so 150 divided by 625, that would be 0.24 over 0.18. Okay, so divided by 0.18, so we have 1.33. Okay, so that would be 1.33. So 1.33, that means elastic supply. Okay, that means elastic supply. Okay, so we are done now with the table, but we are not yet done. So this time we are going to make a what they called rectangular coordinate system. No, with this one. Okay, so that we can identify. Okay, so from this time, now we are going to make a graph. So we are going to graph this one. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to make a rectangular coordinate system. Okay, so rectangular coordinate system. So in the rectangular coordinate system, the quantity is in the x-axis. So quantity is in the x-axis. So this is our quantity. That means that would be QD and QS. Okay, then we have the y-axis is the price. So the y-axis will be the price. So the highest price is 60. So we can have it by 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Okay, this would be 0. Then our highest quantity is 700. So we'll have it by 100. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800. Okay, so remember our x is quantity, our y is the price. So our y is the price. Okay, so this time we are now going to tabulate. So let's have here QD. So QD is 450. So here 450 and 30. So 450 and 30. So 450 and 30. So we'll put the point there. So and let's name as A. Okay, so we are going to name it as A. Next, B, 440. So 440. So here, so 40. So we have here, this is now our B. Okay, next is 350 and 50. So 350. 350 and 50. Okay, so this is now our C. Next is 360. 360. Okay, so and this is now our D. Okay, so now we can now connect. Okay, so we can now connect. So this is now our demand line. So muna itong demand. That's the demand line. Okay, so now let's go for the supply line. Our supply. So our demand curve, our supply curve. So let's, we will just have it demand curve. Okay. So this is now our demand curve, that one. So how about our supply curve? So let's start here, 250 and 30. So 250 and 30. Okay, so this is now our A. Next, 440. 440, so that would be the B. Next is 550 and 50. 550. Okay. And 50. Okay, so this is now our C. And then 760. 760. And that is now our D. Okay, 760. So from there, now we can now connect the dots. Okay, we can now connect dots. This is now our supply curve. Okay, so our demand curve, no, is going downward because there is what we call indirect relationship of X and Y. So there is a indirect relationship between quantity and also price. So when the so when the price increases, so what will happen? Quantity demand also decreases. Okay, so that is emphasized in the demand. And then in the supply, so sa supply, this is also what we call direct relation because when price increases, quantity supply also increases. Okay, so that is the main point, no? So it goes up. Okay, if price will increase, quantity supply increase. But sa demand, when price decreases, no, when price will decrease, quantity demand increase. But when price increases, quantity demand will decrease. So because of that indirect relationship or negative relationship of the two variables, in the supply, there is what we call positive relationship of the two variables. Okay? So there. So point B, here, this is our what we call market equilibrium. Market equilibrium. So that is our market equilibrium. And then all the points above here going up, the points there, that is what we call, since quantity supply is greater than quantity demand, we call it as surplus. Okay? So the points going down here, it is what we call shortage. Okay? Shortage. And that is what we call the market equilibrium. Okay, that's the market equilibrium. So this is what you are going to do, no, in your project.